सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमु रामाय तस्मै नमः। रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् आत्मानमखिलाधारम् आश्रये भीष्टसिद्धये। अर्थतोऽप्यद्वयानन्दान् अतीतद्वैतभानतः गुरुनाराध्य वेदान्तसारं वक्ष्ये यथामति। Hari Om. Swamiji had described what is this first conditioning which comes in the proximity of Chaitanya. He went on to elaborate this first conditioning, which is ajnanam, ignorance. And the uniqueness was, this ignorance was pointed out from samashti standpoint and vyashti standpoint. It operates at cosmic level, it also operates at individual level. This ajnanam alone was called as upadhi, the conditioning, the first conditioning. Then Swamiji said, pure consciousness gets conditioned as though by this conditioning. So that conditioned consciousness is called as upahita chaitanya. Samashti upahita chaitanya is Ishvara, vyashti upahita chaitanya is jiva. And by understanding that, there is no difference between these two upadhis, vyashti and samashti upadhi. There is no difference between vyashti and samashti upahita chaitanya. By that, we should be able to dissolve our ragadveshas. We should be able to appreciate this point that only Bhagwan is, only totality is, dissolve ourselves into that totality. And the result of that is, mind is made ready to inquire into unconditioned consciousness. Upadhi, Upahita Chaitanya and Anupahita Chaitanya. So Swamiji said, the main purpose of studying Vedantasara is to abide in Anupahita Chaitanya. That was the main topic. After that, Anupahita Chaitanya, another name was Turiya. That topic was elaborated. Now Swamiji is describing from 51st verse onwards the extensions of ignorance. What does it mean, extension of ignorance? Means what are the effects of ignorance? Ajnana adi sakala jada samuha. That is how it was said, right? Ajnana adi means the first one is ajnanam. What all things come after ajnanam? So that elaboration is going to be done after 51st verse. Okay, 52nd verse, we'll chant it together. Now Swamiji said there is Avarna Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. From this ajnanam, from this maya, the two powers are there by which lot of things happen in this creation. So what is Avarna Shakti? What is its role? 52nd verse elaborated it. Avarna Shakti stavate alpopi megah aneka yojana ayatam aditya mandalam avalokayitri Nayana patha pidhaya kataya yatha achadayati iva tatha ajnanam parichinnam api atmanam aparichinnam asamsarinam avalokayitri buddhipidhaya kataya achadayati iva tadrusham samarthyam taduktam घनच्छन्न दृष्टिर्घनच्छन्नमर्कम् यथा निष्प्रभं मन्यते चाति मूढः तथा बद्धवद्भाति यो मूढदृष्टेः स नित्योपलब्धिः स्वरूपोऽहमात्मा इति. Now what is this Avarna Shakti? Avarna Shakti, how it operates, example is given. A small cloud is able to cover a big sun. That sun which is so far off, that small cloud is able to cover. How does it cover? It covers just by coming in between the line of sight. Nayana patha pidhaya kataya. Of this person who is seeing, this cloud comes and covers the line of sight. In that way, ajnanam comes and covers our buddhi. That instrument by which we can recognize our infinitude. That buddhi itself is covered by ajnanam. Ajnanam has not actually covered Atma. So now look at the similarities. We saw this in Astamalaka Stotram. During that Ghanachanna Drishtir verse also we saw it. The first similarity is the cloud exists. The cloud is known because of the sun alone. Right? If it is dark clouds, you say it, the sun rays evaporated the water from the ocean. And that is how these clouds are formed. And the very fact that we are able to see the clouds, it is because of sun. So over here also, ajnanam is having or borrowing its existence from Atma. Right? Even its existence is borrowed from Atma. It is illumined by Atma. Even the statement, I don't know I am Brahma, that thought itself is illumined by Chaitanya. So ajnanam also is rooted in Atma and it is illumined by Atma. Okay, this is the first similarity. Second one is this cloud which is covering the sun. What do we have to do to see the sun? You see, just remove the cloud. You don't have to do anything separately. Sun is already shining. But right now, it is being understood erroneously. Because that covering is there, we feel sun has not risen yet. Or this ati moda vyakti, he says, nishprabham manyate, means the sun has lost its shine today. So some other thought has come. All that we need to do is remove the cloud. So over here also, Atma is ever available to us. Ananda Swarupa Atma is ever shining. So what do we have to do? Just remove that thick clouds of ajnana. Once ajnanam is gone, there is nothing separate that this sadhaka has to do to recognize Atma. In and through ajnanam also, or even while that person is ignorant, he is already Brahma, he is already Atma. Atma is ever recognized, but it is recognized erroneously. Right? Recognized with this conditioning of doer, conditioning of enjoyer. All those things are erroneously mixed up in Ananda. Thinking ourselves to be finite. That notion of finitude itself is illumined by Chaitanya. But I think myself to be finite. That is this erroneous understanding. So this is the similarity. Two simple similarities there. One is the cloud itself is recognized because of Chaitanya. Ajnanam is recognized because of Chaitanya. it appears finite. Atma appears finite. All we have to do is remove that ajnanam, just like we have to remove the cloud to see that sun. This verse we saw in Atma Bodha. Do you remember that verse? Parichinna ivajnanat. Right? This ajnanam which is there, it is parichinna. Tannashe sati kevala. Tannashe means ajnana nashe sati kevala atma, that reveals forth. Swayam prakashate hi atma megha payam shumaniva. That atma which is swayam prakasha, it shines forth. How? The same example was given. Megha paye, megha apaye amshumaniva. When clouds are removed, the sun shines brilliantly. Now somebody might ask a question, are there only similarities or are there some dissimilarity also? Because whenever an example comes, there should be similarity, there should be dissimilarity also. So what is a dissimilarity between the cloud example and ajnanam? Cloud covering the sun and ajnanam covering atma. What is the dissimilarity? You can type if you have any answers. Similarity you understood, right? So what do we want to show? That is called as darshtanta, the main point. So ajnanam covering atma is darshtanta. Cloud covering the sun is drishtanta. It's an example. So between darshtanta and drishtanta, there will be similarity, there will be dissimilarity. And unless we understand both, our hold over the example is not complete. Good. Ajnanam can be removed by knowledge. Clouds have to be removed by something else. We can't see Atma as an object, but you can see sun as an object. Good. Ajnanam covering Atma is internal. Cloud might come again to cover, whereas Ajnanam, when removed, is gone forever. Very good. Such confidence is there. That is how we should study Vedanta. If Ajnanam is removed once, it will not come back again. Good. We have to put forth effort to remove Ajnanam. Very good. Ajnanam covering Atma is within, and the cloud is removed without any effort. Good. All good points. Do you think that Ajnanam can go away by itself? Just like clouds go away by themselves, can Ajnanam go away without putting forth any effort? We say Ajnanam of anything cannot go away on its own. What to talk about? Absolute Ajnanam, Mula Vidya, ignorance about our infinitude. What to talk about that? Even ignorance of physics, ignorance of music, ignorance of math, even worldly ignorance cannot go away on its own. One has to put forth effort. One has to do sadhanas to become adhikari first. That adhikari has to go to a teacher. Guru upasati also should happen. And after that, pramana vyapara will happen. Pramana vyapara means ignorance will go through knowledge. Knowledge will come through valid means of knowledge, which is pramana. And that transaction of using the valid means of knowledge, that is called as pramana vyapara. So when the student does shravanam, gets this knowledge, reflects on it, that conviction which is there, that conviction will remove ajnanam. Okay. So cloud example, this cloud will go away on its own. But in terms of Atma Jnanam, Ajnanam is not going to go away on its own. Otherwise, everything would be so simple, right? I feel like I have to remove ignorance of music. I just keep waiting. One day I'll become a musician. One day I'll become a scientist. I say, no. If ignorance is there, it will go away only through knowledge. And once that becomes clear, our reverence for Shravanam goes up, or should go up. Why? Because that is the only way we are going to get clear knowledge, reflection on this knowledge. That is the second step. Our reverence for that, attending study groups, discussing it, getting clarity, that reverence also should go up. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, in one text, he says, if somebody feels ajnanam will automatically go away, meaning how they will put it is, if I get moksha in this birth, it is okay. He says, if that is the case, then that person is manda mumukshu. Manda mumukshu, and the way he looks at it is, well, if I'm going on the seashore and I find silver on the seashore, such a great bhagya, right? Bhagavan has blessed me with that, and how happy he feels. Like that he feels, I will get moksha in that way. Means I'm going somewhere casually, and it just came on my plate. So like that who feels, Bhagavan says that person is manda mumukshu. And same place he describes tivra mumukshu also. One who has understood ajnanam is the main problem and is doing all other sadhanas, living an alert life, doing all other things which are needed to become adhikari, to become a fit student, but he starts paying attention to Vedanta very closely. And he says, no more birth. Right here, right now, that is what I am seeking for, Ananda. Okay. So what is the second difference? One is this one, and many differences you pointed out between these two examples. Effort is one thing. In cloud, it will automatically go away, but over here, it won't go away automatically. Second is, in the cloud and sun example, the person deluded and the object of ignorance is different. Means person who is ignorant and the object of ignorance, they are two different things. Object is the sun. Sun is somewhere, person who is ignorant, that person is somewhere. But in the ajnanam example, the one who is deluded, he is deluded about himself. So the subject and object of ignorance is the same. Not knowing ourselves to be that infinite Brahman, that is the subject of delusion. And who is deluded? That same person who is feeling himself to be finite. So whenever ignorance has to be removed, two things have to happen. Knowledge has to take place in that person who is deluded. If I am having ignorance, somebody else gets knowledge, that is not going to help. Even for worldly knowledge, right? So in Vivek Chudamani, Bhagavan says, if I am hungry, I have to eat. If somebody eats, our hunger will not get satisfied. So one thing is, same person should get knowledge. And second is, he should get knowledge of that particular thing which is ignorant. Right? If I'm ignorant about physics and I learn math, ignorance about math will go away, not of physics. So if somebody is ignorant about nature of Atma and he studies some other topic, he says ignorance of Atma, ignorance about our own true nature will remain very safely protected. And in Saddarshanam, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi ji says, this ahankara likes it. It doesn't want to inquire into its own nature. So it will find several other things to stay away from, this study. And one of the most powerful tool is sleep. Nidra Devi, she asked Bhagavan once, where should I stay? He said, wherever I go, people don't want. He says, you live in satsang. There you will find very good opportunity where you can have, good place. And all it says is, we should protect ourselves and make sure that we pay attention to what Vedanta is teaching. Because that is the subject, that is a topic which we need knowledge about, and it is something not different from us. So it becomes even more relevant that we have to remove the ignorance we have about ourselves. Ignorance about other things, few things, even if we don't remove, it's okay. In this world, there are so many things to be known, right? And so many things we don't know. And we are still okay. Life is still going on. But it is said, if we are ignorant about ourselves, think ourselves to be finite, then that is where a lot of other samsara begins. Talking about samsara, what is this parampara of samsara? That is described in 53rd verse. Let us see. Anaya avrutasya atmanah, anaya avrutasya atmanah, kartrutva bhoktrutva, kartrutva bhoktrutva, sukhitva dukhitvadi, sukhitva dukhitvadi, samsara sambhavanapi, samsara sambhavanapi, bhavati, yatha swa ajnana avrutayam, rajvam sarpatva sambhavana, rajvam sarpatva sambhavana, anaya avrutasya atmanah. Anaya means Avarna Shaktya. Whatever we discussed in 52nd verse, by this Avarna Shakti, Avrutasya Atmana, of Atma which is covered, which is, Avruta, covered. Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva, Sukhitva, Dukhitvadi, Samsara Sambhavanapi Bhavati. Once this covering is there, it becomes a very fertile ground for erroneous notion to sprout. Without that avaranam, Vikshepa Shakti cannot do much. Without covering, projection cannot happen effectively. Even for a movie projection, we see that. Right? You don't feel like you've watched a movie if it is all bright. Right? What do? You close all the windows, turn off the lights. In that darkness, we project, and then we enjoy that movie. Even magician, he cannot project without hiding. Right? So unless there is Avarna Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti cannot do its job. Now what are the possibilities that have come? Sambhavana bhavati. Sambhavana means possibility. If adhishthanam, the substratum, is hidden, different types of errors are possible. What is that? Chain of errors. Parampara is there. Anartha parampara, Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes. He says, what is that anartha parampara? Starting from kartrutva. I am a doer. Bhoktrutva, I am an experiencer. Right? So Bhoktrutva, Gurudev used to say it as perceiver, feeler, thinker. Thinker you can put under kartrutva. Perceiver and feeler is Bhoktrutva. Sukhitva dukhitvadi. The result of that is, I am happy, I am sad. All of this is result of this same ajnanam. But actually speaking, the first expression of this is bhoktrutva. Not knowing ourselves to be Ananda Swarupa, not knowing ourselves to be complete. We take ourselves to be desirous of somebody who is desirous of Ananda, somebody who is seeking this joy. That is the first expression of bhoktrutva. And that bhoktrutva, that incompleteness, makes us do so many things in this world which falls under kartrutva. Doing is not a problem. Doing with this expectation or hope that by doing this thing, I'm going to be complete. I'm going to get ananda by doing something. You see, this jiva has taken so many projects, right from several janmas. Magara pachisi maya karana desa videsa gayo. Kabir Das Ji says, out of this discontentment only, you went several lands across, crossed several seas, and went to so many places and did so many things. Now, these are bigger projects in life, which we have taken up with this hope that it will bring us completement, contentment. It will bring us completeness or contentment. But you see, even in smaller scale, there are so many things we do hoping that it will give us joy. And we should pay attention whether it has really given us joy or not. It could be something like eating delicious food. It could be something like music. So many playlists we have, right? And this song, if I hear, it's so good. I remember all those are subtle forms of bhoktrutva. Kartrutva expresses that by doing this thing, I'll be complete. But what is sitting at the root is, I'm incomplete right now. As a repercussion of that, so many different things are being done. Kartrutva, bhoktrutva, and then sukhitva, dukhitva. The only two results which will come out of all our efforts, Swamiji writes here, either it will be sukham or it will be dukkham. So what is sukham? If situations around us are conducive the way that we want, we say that is sukham. You see, our Mahatmas, their precision in defining things. This definition is from Yoga Sutra. Anukulam vedaniyam sukham. Anukulam means if things around me are on the same bank. Kula means a bank. Anukulam means the bank on which I am standing. On a river, there are two banks, right? Anukula. On one kula, I am standing. If whatever I want is according to the way I want, so that is anukula. Knowledge of anukulam. Anukulam vedaniyam sukham. This thought that everything is going just like I want. That is sukham. What will be dukkham? Pratikulam vedaniyam dukkham. If things are not the way that we want, that thought of things not being the way we want, that thought is called as dukkham. So our whole life goes in this circle only. And according to Swamiji, samsara is not anything else. His samsara is thinking ourselves to be karta, thinking ourselves to be bhokta, and experiencers of sukham and dukkham. That is why he says, sukhitva dukhitvadi samsara sambhavana api bhavati. This is samsara is only these four things: kartrutva, bhoktrutva, sukha, and dukkha. Now, same thing, Bhagwan Shankaracharya gives a very metaphorical description in Viveka Chudamani. He says this samsara is like a shark. This moha, delusion that we have, that world will give us joy and make us complete. It is like a shark, which will eat us up, coated, booted, and suited. Gurudev writes in that commentary. See, the shark is such, it will come and not, eat part by part. It will just swallow us like that. And with that, he says, even while we are living in this samsara, all jivas are dancing. How are we dancing? To the tune of our buddhi. Whatever this mind tells us, we think that is, who we are. That is what is our true nature. And he says, this samsara is like a vast ocean. And he says, we are like, a kaddu, a pumpkin going up and down in that ocean. Means one experience there is sukham, another experience there is dukkham. This roller coaster ride, it has been going on from time immemorial. He says that is this samsara. It is somewhere around, I think, 135th verse after that, Vivek Chudamani. Maha Moha Graha starts from that. But the thing is, the irony in all this thing is, who is thinking himself to be bhokta, who is thinking himself to be desirous of ananda? See, ananda swarupa brahma. Just now we saw, right? Even while we are ignorant, we are already the Chaitanya. So the same Brahma, because of ignorance, starts thinking itself to be deluded. So jiva is not somebody else and Brahma is somebody else. We should not think in that way. Brahma deluded is thinking itself to be jiva. So we remove this ignorance, we don't have to merge jiva into Brahma. Just like we don't have to do anything to bring that sun, right? Just remove this ignorance. What remains is this self-shining sun. Okay. Sukhitva dukhitvadi samsara sambhavana api bhavati yatha swa ajnana avrutayam rajvam sarpatva sambhavana. Just like in that rope, swa ajnana avrutayam rajvam, that rope which is covered by its own ignorance. Where did that ignorance come from? It is said, it is there inherent in that. Or you say it is in buddhi. Swa avruta means that ajnanam which is in buddhi, which covers that rope. Once that rope is covered, there is possibility of taking that rope to be something else. Rajvam sarpatva sambhavana. You can see a snake, you can see a garland of dry flowers, you can see crack on the earth, you can see a hose pipe. Right? Different erroneous notions are possible, but the substratum is only one. And what is the condition needed for error to come? That substratum should be hidden. Okay. So now what is the difference between jnani and ajnani? In terms of ajnanam or this avarna, what is the difference? We say in jnani, this ajnanam is removed. In an ignorant person, this ajnanam or ignorance is still there. There is no another unique feature of a jnani. So if ajnanam has been removed, that is what, that antakarana is called a jnani. That is another point. Atma is not jnani, Atma is not ajnani also. This buddhi which was there, that buddhi had ajnanam. Knowledge came in Atma or did it come in buddhi? In buddhi. So who became jnani? Atma became jnani or buddhi became jnani? Buddhi became jnani. And what is that jnani's understanding? I am not buddhi. I am Atma. So if you ask a jnani, are you jnani? They will not answer that question. Right? That's how Upanishad said, Brahmavid Brahmaiva bhavati. Knower of Brahman is Brahman, not jnani. Jnani is another title which will bring finitude. Right? But the main purpose is, through this knowledge, dukkha nivritti has happened. Samsara has been removed from their life. What is samsara? Thinking ourselves to be karta, bhokta, experiencers of sukham and dukkham. There was one Mahatma Ji, somebody went to him and said, can you do vastu bhanga? Vastu bhanga means, can you show some miracles? Can you make this thing disappear? Vastu, can you make bhanga of that? Can you make that thing disappear? And Mahatma Ji said, I can do your avarna bhanga. I can remove your ajnanam and bring immortality. If you want that, you come. And you would give time also. 6 महीने हमारे साथ रहो, आवरण भंग कर देंगे. You stay with me for 6 months, I will remove ignorance from your life. This is, the greatness of Mahatmas. This was Akhandananji Maharaj. Somebody came to him, he said, Vastu Bhanga is not our forte. Although he had that power. So much of upasana was done. But he said, I can do Avarna Bhanga. That is samsara. Avarnam itself is samsara. I will take away that samsara. Now, more practically, if you say, what is Vedanta asking us to do? Just now we said, so many projects we have taken out of this incompleteness. Should we stop those projects, or what is Vedanta's perspective? Vedanta says, none of those things by themselves are a bondage. Taking up projects is also not a bondage. And wherever Bhagwan has placed us in our life, doing our duties also is not a bondage. This point we saw earlier also, when we saw Nitya Karma. Nitya Karma is a tool for us to mature from within, blossom from within. Inner unfoldment happens through the same karmas. Only switch which should happen is appreciating this point that all projects we have started, all goals we have taken up, they are the means, they are not the absolute goal. They are only sadhana. Sadhya is turiya only. Sadhana, what is the English translation? Means. Sadhya means a goal. Goal is turiya. All other things I'm doing in my life is to prepare myself to abide in that turiya. If that gets flipped, if I think turiya is sadhana and world is goal, I say that is very erroneous understanding. Although we might start that way, right? We might say, I want to do spirituality because, this consciousness, knowledge of consciousness will make me very efficient in the world. It will increase my efficiency. You see, that will come through sadhana chatushtaya. It is not a result of consciousness or anything. But sometimes there is a tendency or a chance to use spirituality for the world. But sadhaka is the one who uses world for spirituality. Right? Every transaction, he says, Bhagwan, may I do it with karma yoga buddhi, so that this mind can know your true nature. Turiya is Bhagwan's true nature. Either you say, our true nature is Turiya, or you go through Tatpada route and you say, Bhagwan's true nature is Turiya. Shantam Shivam Advaitam. Who is Lord Shiva? You see that same Advaita Tattva, which is pure consciousness, that I am seeking. That is the true place of Ananda. For that, all Vyavahara should be tuned. Okay, so that is this portion of ajnanam. In particular, Avarna Shakti. So 52nd and 53rd verse spoke about Avarna Shakti. Now its other counterpart, which is Vikshepa Shakti. Okay, one of it does the hiding portion, another does the projection portion. Let us read 54th verse. Vikshepa Shaktistu yatha rajju ajnana swa avruta rajjau swa shaktya sarpadikam udbhavayati evam ajnanam api swa avruta atmani swa shaktya akashadi prapancham udbhavayati tadrusham samarthyam taduktam vikshepa shaktir lingadi brahmandantam jagat srujet iti. Now what is this Vikshepa Shakti? What is its role? Vikshepa Shakti hitu yatha rajju ajnana swa avruta rajjau swa shaktya sarpadikam udbhavati. Example is giving first. Just like that rope which is covered by ignorance, its own ignorance, it is covered by. With its own power, it has the ability to project a snake. Swa avruta rajjau, just like that ignorance in that rope which is lying there, swa avruta rajjau, which has been covered by that ignorance, that rope, swa shaktya, by its own power. Which power? Vikshepa shakti. Now he's saying that even in that example of rope and snake, there is Avarna Shakti and there is Vikshepa Shakti. Avarna Shakti covers, and that Vikshepa Shakti has the power to project a snake. Swashaktya sarpadikam udbhavayati. Just like this is possible, in the same way, ajnanam api swa avruta atmani. In that atma which is covered by this ajnanam, swa avruta atmani, swashaktya akashadi prapancham udbhavayati. With its own power, it has this ability to project not only a small snake. Ajnanam at samashti level is projecting entire creation, starting from Akasha. Akasha, then Vayu, then Teja, then up, and then comes Prithvi. It's water, and then earth element. All these 5 elements are projected from this Chaitanya. From Chaitanya, nothing can come. So we should say Chaitanya plus Maya. From these two together, from that Vikshepa Shakti part, all this creation is getting projected. That will be elaborated in the next verse, but we should just appreciate what is the role of Vikshepa Shakti. Vikshepa means to, kship dhatu means to throw. Kship means to throw or to project. So Vikshepa means that which projects this entire world, that which brings about the perception of this entire creation. That is this Vikshepa Shakti. Udbhavati tadrusham samarthyam. This is the power, this is the ability of Vikshepa Shakti. Now to just elaborate this point, what is the text which is quoted here? Vakya Sudha. Another name for Drigdrisha Viveka is Vakya Sudha. So we had seen this verse. Vikshepa Shakti hi lingadi brahmandantam jagat srujet. This Vikshepa Shakti, what does it do? It projects the first thing, which is this mind. Linga Sharira, you can take mind as a representative. From this mind, from this ahankara onwards, projection starts, and until where does it go? It goes all the way until several brahmandas. Vikshepa Shaktir lingadi brahmandantam jagat srujet. Starting from this linga sharira, starting from this mind, all the way until several brahmandas, this Vikshepa Shakti has thrown its net. When Bhagavan says, my Maya is very difficult to cross over, Ajnanam, of course, Avarna Shakti is difficult to cross over. But this Vikshepa, the extension of this Vikshepa is so big. Now, one thing to appreciate is this Vikshepa word. Generally, how do you understand? Vikshepa means mind is disturbed. Agitation, we say there is Vikshepa in the mind. Just like there is a water and you throw a stone in that water, you say water has become Vikshipta. It has become disturbed. But here, it's even subtler than that. We say mind itself is Vikshepa first. Okay? Because of this Vikshepa Shakti, first appearance of this Vikshepa is in the form of this mind. And in that mind, there is more Vikshepa. Because of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, all different types of Vikshepas which are there, they will come in that mind. So you see now, our method of understanding will be at 2 levels. One project in our life is to calm down Vikshepa in the mind. That is done through sadhana, that is the result of devotion to Bhagavan. Calming down Vikshepa in the mind, making that water calm, just like Manasarovar. That mind which is calm, in which that Kailasa Parvata gets reflected, such a mind sadhaka should have. But what is the second project? To know that even this calm mind is result of Vikshepa. I am not even this calm mind, I am Ananda Swarupa Atma, which is Shanta Swarupa. Calmness is my nature. Calmness is not a particular state. It is just like when we are watching a movie, you have a ferocious sea, let us say. And that water calms down in that sea, and now you have a calm sea. But unless you know that even that calm sea is a projection, reality is only the screen, there is not even this calm water over there, our knowledge is not complete. So in Vedanta also, one part is to quieten Vikshepa in the mind. And second part is to know mind itself is result of Vikshepa. That is a part of knowledge. That is a part of clear Shravanam. Knowing that how did this creation come about? What is Adhyaropa? What is Apavad? Right? Now somebody might ask, what is the harm in staying just at mind level? Why can't we live our life just by taking care of this mind? Why do you even have to study Vedanta and know that I am not this mind, I am Chaitanya? Aren't all our problems solved just with mind? We say we should congratulate ourselves if we are able to accomplish even the first one, right? It takes so much of sadhana, so much of alertness to even quieten this mind and remove Vikshepa from mind level. But that doesn't mean we should not go further. In fact, only the one who has done the first step will be inspired to go to the second step. In the true sense. Wanting to abide in Chaitanya, that thought will not come to an agitated mind. We see in our own experience, right? When mind is agitated, you say you are the witness of this agitated mind. It doesn't work that way. So one strength is our sadhana balam. But result of that is Bhagavan says, I will give you knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. To that seeker who has beautified the mind, Bhagavan says it's my responsibility to help you transcend the mind by giving knowledge. So what is our duty? Just reflect in line with what Upanishad is telling us to reflect. If Upanishad say, go beyond the mind, we should not insist and say, I want to be at mind. Right? So over here, what did Swamiji say? Mind itself is Vikshepa Shakti. Mind itself is the result of this Vikshepa Shakti. Go beyond it and abide in Chaitanya Swarupa Atma. Okay. Another reason is this mind is made up of three gunas. Right? Whatever is there in the cause, same thing will get shown in the effect. So if three gunas are there in the cause, we cannot expect that only Sattva guna will be seen in the effect. So mind will show Rajoguna, mind will show Tamoguna. And if we tie our moksha to this mind and say if mind is disturbed, what is the purpose of striving for moksha? What is the purpose of studying Vedanta? That kind of correlation will start developing, and our moksha will be limited to a particular time, limited to a particular place. Morning time, I'm very quiet, I'm very calm. It means I'm liberated. During the day, so many other things come on my plate. Agitation comes, that means I get bound again. You see what type of moksha it is, 5 to 9 moksha. Morning 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. After 9, something else happens. Or you say, only when I go to a particular place, then this mind becomes quiet, then I am liberated. So we have put liberation in the boundaries of time, in the boundaries of space. To avoid that, our acharyas say, don't make that correlation. Do lot of sadhana, do lot of devotional practices to beautify this mind. But main litmus test of moksha is, do I think of myself as finite or infinite? Do we think of ourselves as karta or akarta? Doer or non-doer? Experiencer or illuminator of experience? See, that is a litmus test. Don't tie anything else to this. Now, it might happen that we might study a lot of Vedanta, so many years, so many different texts. And let us say, if Lord Shiva comes one day and asks us, tell me, what did you study in Vedanta? Are you karta or akarta? Now, we might be able to give a lot of technical concepts. But end of the day, if we say, I think I am doer only, I think I am experiencer only. So that means knowledge has not removed this ignorance. Avarnam, which was sitting in this buddhi, this prama has not come and removed this ajnanam. So once we appreciate that, we should pay attention to it. Purpose in Vedanta is not anything else. One of our Swamiji would say, Vedanta is, or Shravanam is, prama generation factory. Just like in a factory, you have different things which are produced, right? So in Shravanam, prama should be produced. Prama means that knowledge of our own infinitude. It should have the power to remove ignorance. If it does, then the purpose of study is fulfilled. Now, one last point I'll mention about this same topic, mind and Vikshepa. Vikshepa Shakti Lingadi Brahmandantam Jagat Srujet. Swamiji said, Vikshepa Shakti, one thing operates at, the first expression is this mind, and this entire creation comes after that. So in Panchadashi, all the topics which we discussed today are from Panchadashi. The previous topic also, and this one also is from Panchadashi. Vidyaranya Swamiji says, there are two types of srishtis. Okay, one he says is Ishvara srishti, another is jiva srishti. It fits in the same context. When we say Vikshepa Shaktir Lingadi Brahmandantam Jagat Srujet, Swamiji says this Jagat can be classified in two types of creation. One creation is Ishvara Srishti. All the 5 elements which are there, different things we see in this world, plants, trees, animals, mountains, rivers, all those things are Ishvara Srishti. Even these 5 elements around us. Now, what is Jiva Srishti? In Ishvara Srishti, this Jiva has a unique tendency to claim certain things as his. He says, this is mine, they belong to me, and I am such and such person. And the beautiful result of that Jiva Srishti is Raga, Dvesha, and so many other things which come along with it. The 6 enemies, Kama, Krodha, all of that is Jiva Srishti. Okay, one is Ishvara Srishti, another is Jiva Srishti. And Swamiji says there, what causes samsara is only Jiva Srishti. He says Ishvara Srishti is Guru. If we just go by Bhagwan's creation, it is a teacher to Jivas. And that is how Avadhuta in Bhagavatam, he found 24 gurus looking at this creation. So Vidyaranya Swamiji says, Bhagwan teaches us many lessons through creation. Ishvara Srishti was never a problem. So what is the thing that we have to focus on? He says, focus on Jiva Srishti. Jiva srishti, when it is there, samsara is there. Jiva srishti is not there, samsara is not there. And he gives an example also. Mellower example is this, Let us say there are 100 people sitting in a room, and outside in the parking lot, cars are parked. Now one person, organizer, comes inside and announces. He says there was a tree which was in our parking lot. It has fallen on a blue car. And he reads out the number also. CA and such number he reads out. And one Mr. A, his car it was, he starts getting anxious. He starts feeling, oh my God, what I'm going to do now and everything. And his neighbor is sitting next to him. He consoles him. Oh, it's just a car. There are so many cars which have come, so many cars which you have sold. Don't get so anxious. Everything will be fine. Insurance will call and this and that. Right at that time, the organizer runs back again. Sorry about the announcement. There was a small error in the number of the car. This is not the number. Another number he reads. And whose car it was? Neighbor's car. So now Vedantasara Swamiji says, while the first scene was happening, right? When Mr. A, he was feeling that his car is, the tree has fallen on his car, and this Mr. B neighbor was consoling him. At that time, what was the reason for samsara? He says, in person A, there was jiva srishti. This thought was there that this is my car. And that is what tree has fallen on this car. And second, Mr. B, although it was his car which was outside, tree has fallen on his car, but in his mind, jiva srishti was not there. He didn't have this thought that this is my car on which the tree has fallen. So in one person there is samsara, in the second person there is no samsara. So he says, oh sadhakas, live in this world by putting everything in Bhagwan's srishti. Whatever is there, it belongs to him. We are trustees, of whatever Bhagwan has given us. With that, he says, we can remove a lot of our jiva srishti. All the things which bother at mind level, they have to be removed. Now, what should I do with Ishvara srishti? 5 elements are there. Perception of this creation is happening. I said that perception, reality will be removed through knowledge. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to literally destroy it. It cannot be destroyed also because it's an appearance. Right? Whatever is an appearance need not and cannot be destroyed. What is the example he gives in Panchadashi? Blueness of the sky. Because the sky, the blue color in the sky is not even there. And if I keep insisting that, okay, if it is not there, I will remove it. If blueness in the sky, if it is not there, then why is it being seen? Let us go and literally remove that blue color in the sky. He says, no, you cannot remove it because it's an appearance. So this creation also, we don't have to insist on non-perception of creation, meaning non-perception of this result of Vikshepa Shakti. What do we have to do? Just remove that ignorance. Ajnanam is removed, the reality given to Vikshepa, that is removed. Okay. In this way, he says, Karyam of Vikshepa Shakti will not bind us. The result of Vikshepa Shakti in this creation will not bind us. There is one question I'll give as a reflection point. You can think on your own, and if we have time, we can reflect in the next session. In verse number 52, it was said, 4th line you see, end of 3rd line and 4th line. Tatha ajnanam parichinnam api atmanam aparichinnam asamsarinam avalokaitri buddhi pidayakataya achadeti iva. Ajnanam, which is parichinna. Just like that cloud was parichinna, ajnanam is also parichinna. and it covers Atma. Asamsarinam Atmanam Buddhi Pidayakataya. By covering this Buddhi, in that way it covers Atma. But the main point here is ajnanam aparichinnam? Is ajnanam parichinnam? Is ignorance finite? Right? What did Swamiji say? Ajnanam parichinnam api. Is ignorance finite? If yes, how? If no, how? Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Isn't seeking knowledge of Vedanta also an effort to seek joy or ananda? So it is also about being a doer and an experiencer. It starts in that way. Means Vedanta's, way of introducing this knowledge to us is, it will talk about some wonderful Brahman, having known which one becomes immortal, having known which nothing else remains to be known. This is how Brahmaji advertised in Brahmaloka when he was starting his Vedanta course there. He said there is something knowing which you will become immortal. Indra also heard, Virochana also heard that same announcement, and both of them go. Now in the beginning only, if he had said that you are not the experiencer, you are not the doer, it's okay, then why should we come? Right? So initial introduction by Vedanta is seek that ananda. So where do I seek it? He said, come to Shravanam. Start doing Shravanam of Upanishad. You will find the location of that ananda. And if you have done Shravanam correctly, Upanishads will say, we ourselves are that ananda. This was the concluding statement Guruji made in our Vedanta Ramana camp. Puja Guruji said, one thing we should know in Vedanta is what we are seeking is we ourselves. We are seeking that ananda. That ananda is our own true nature, currently mixed up with all different conditionings. Right? So this knowledge cannot come in the beginning itself. It has to be systematically built. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.